everyone. Welcome once again to yet another episode of Two Noobs Talking. It's episode 105. With me, of course, are my two good friends, co-hosts, compatriots, and all-around good gentlemen. Mr. John Tracy, Mr. Steve Murray. I am Mr. Matt Craig. Happy you are with us. Steve, how you doing, man? A little bit of a rough go with some youth hockey today, but other than that, you're doing all right, right?
I'm not sorry. Hello.
There you go. I got a tip for you guys before we get started. When doing a high-intensity workout, do not do incline push-ups. They are the worst exercise to do. I had to do 15 of them.
I try not to do push-ups because they hurt.
Yeah.
And when I do the DDPY yoga, and some of the workouts you do like 3-count push-ups, like 3 down, 3
1,
hold,
2,
3 up.
3, 1. Yep.
And then sometimes you do 5. And then the last one I did, he was like, "All right, a 10-second push-up." I'm like, "Fuck you." No way.
Yeah, exactly.
This was
yeah, right. Yeah, this was 100-meter row. Then you would get off, and then you would do 15 inclines. Then you go back, and you did another 100. Then you do 150-meter row, 15 incline push-ups. Then 200-meter row, then 15 incline. And it was like by round 3, I was kind of like, 5, okay, stop for a minute, you know. It's just like, you know what, I gotta shake this out. 6,
yeah.
You know,
this workout holds no appeal for me.
Yes, I don't. I'm never doing that. That's dumb.
Never do. No, exactly. Yeah, but don't do that. Don't do that. It was just horrible.
Awesome.
But that was all right. You know, that kind of a deal.
Way to get yourself healthy there.
Yeah, trying to. Yeah,
I'm gonna sit here and talk.
Well, why don't you go ahead and do that, Johnny? How's your day going? What's going on, man?
Man, I'm home. Last episode I was not home, but I'm home. Happy to be home.
Yeah.
It was a fun little drive.
There you go. Houston to wherever you live in now, right? It's probably
Yes,
Yeah.
Central Texas.
There you go.
A couple hours. It's a good little drive.
That still blows my mind because it's like every time I like drive all the way out to like Harrisburg, Hershey, it's like an hour and a half, and you think like, it's no big deal, but it's like for you, it's like 2 hours, no problem. You know, it's like I keep forgetting how.
Well, Texas is big.
Yeah, it's so big.
Just to get somewhere, you have to drive a while.
I was amazed by the 8-lane highways in Houston.
Aren't they great?
Where they're all going the same direction. I'm used to 3.
Yeah.
You know what we get up here.
It's crazy.
Crap.
I've never driven down there before, but that would probably blow my mind.
It's intense. We were actually stuck in traffic one morning. It was like 7:30 in the morning. We were stuck on one of those one of the large overpasses, the really high ones, because we were
like 1,000 feet in the air. Yeah.
Yes, we were making a connection from one tollway to another tollway to get to where we were going, and literally, just sun's just coming up behind us, and we're 1,000,000 feet in the air, and we're just looking around like, this traffic should start moving soon, hopefully. I don't want to be up here anymore.
There you go. Oh my gosh, you got a nice
too early
advantage.
to be this high up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Not exactly. It's kind of like also it's the real thing too. Like if you ever guys driven like down also outside of Chesapeake Bay, like think northeast Maryland. You know, oh my gosh, that bridge tunnel double.
Oh yeah,
it's creepy. It's like you're looking around. It's like you're on this like couple lane highways, and it's like you're surrounded by water. And it's like, wow, this
Where's
is really
the land?
cool. But then
Where's the land?
Where is the land? Right? Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
There is a bridge in Louisiana, right after Baton Rouge, that I've driven in 30, 40 times. I still make a point that I can't drive it. Like I pull over and pee or something to have the guy I'm with drive it because I cannot. My brain can't wrap around. It's like.
Oh my gosh! It's almost like a roller coaster. Sounds like a roller coaster. I'm like buckled in to go over that bridge. I can't. My brain can't wrap. I think I'm gonna fall over. Like it's just too big. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I can't even imagine even being on an accident on that Chesapeake Bridge. I can't even imagine what that must be like.
Oh yeah, that would be terrible.
That would be
my nightmare.
The worst thing ever. Yeah,
probably
exactly.
it's probably like when you have an accident on 476 North going to like Allentown, where there's nowhere to pull off.
No,
And,
nothing. Yeah, you got
right.
nothing.
So if an accident like basically sets you still for 2 hours, except 10 times worse because you're on a bridge and nobody can really go anywhere.
It's like, yep, I did that. You know, it's like it's like I was responsible for that huge 2-car pileup or that.
I survived the bridge.
Exactly.
I have a similar. I was in not in an accident, but waiting for an accident on the bridge coming out of New Orleans. But that's just a very small bridge. You know what I mean? Like there's swamp all over the place, but it's a very small bridge. It's very low. I couldn't imagine being on something super high for
for
the way you phrased that. I was waiting for an accident, like you're sitting on the side of the road, like one's got to come along soon. Something. Here it is.
What we were waiting for, what I meant is it's a 2-lane bridge, and there's a little bit of a shoulder. We had to wait for people to move over a little bit so the cop cars and ambulance could go by because there isn't enough room. Like there isn't a 3rd lane, so like everybody has to work together in that situation. So that's what I was waiting for. Human race you have to figure it out that everybody has to go a little bit left so they can get by, so we can get moving again.
So you weren't the one setting out the tire spikes. Okay, good.
No, that might have been my doppelganger, but it definitely was not.
There you go.
When he was taking a break from Robin Banks, he's setting car accidents.
Exactly. Yeah. That almost reminds me of like 309. You know, it's like whenever you're driving 309 back in the day, it was 2-lane highway. It was just a country road, and it was. You remember it was like lined with. They had a genius idea to line it with trees, so it's like you're trying to creep out over, and you're like looking behind where the trees are and where everything is. I mean, come on! It's like, what I always
thought was hilarious was the on ramps where like they had a stop sign, so you had to stop at the top of the ramp, and then you got about 10 feet. To like merge. So you had to go from dead stop into 50, 60 mile an hour traffic.
60 miles an hour, right?
Better get up to speed.
Yeah.
That's the way it is in Massachusetts. You have literally 0.2 seconds to be up to speed when you're getting on a ramp that goes in a circle.
What I hate about one thing I hate about New Jersey is you have an on ramp and then immediately there's an exit ramp. Right next to each other. So if you don't merge into traffic immediately, you are going to be exiting the highway you just got on.
Oh, jeez.
So you have to work together with traffic to like weave in and out and trade positions. Some people want to exit and some people want to get on. And it's
202. It's the same thing, Steve. It's literally like down near Westchester. It's awful. It's like Route 3. It's like you literally have to like make sure you're in the right lane in order to get off. And a lot of people are like, nope, this isn't the lane I want to get on. It's like you're dodging people left and right as you're trying to get off these exits. It's awful. But yeah, Johnny, what you have a little fun factoid again?
I got a couple fun facts for you because we were talking about doing a fun fact, and I tripped upon this page. That has.
I hear these are animal facts.
These are animal
facts.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave this Steve Irwin Funko Pop, right?
Please. That's
there
awesome.
you go.
Okay.
Love it.
So let's start with, since it's Steve Irwin, let's start with crocodiles cannot stick out their tongue.
That's probably a good thing.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know how you would find that. I don't know how you would find that out.
Let's go antagonize a crocodile so he sticks his tongue out.
Come on.
He's just like this, and he's not doing it, so you're like, crocodile can't do that. Or is it actually
can't or won't?
Exactly. So the next one, I love this one. This has always been. My dad told me this years ago when the Coca-Cola commercials came out with the polar bears, and it stuck with me my whole life. Polar bear's skin is actually black.
I knew that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that just that blew my mind when I was a kid. When I found that out. I was like, why did I get it now. Like, then you learn.
Well, the nose is kind of a giveaway because the nose is black. But it's actually interesting because we've got cats. Our cats have always been black and white. And if you were to remove the fur, like over the black part of the fur, the skin would be black. And if you remove the white part, it's like pinkish.
Interesting.
So the fact, so it's sort of like the coloring of the fur matches the tone of the skin underneath. So the fact that the polar bear's skin is completely opposite of the white fur is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
That's
very
wild.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's wild. Interesting.
All right, let's
But
go.
the
with-
alligator one, that's really funny.
Yeah, crocodile.
Yeah.
Crocodile.
Oh, crocodile,
Alligators.
that's right.
Alligators can stick their tongues out.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so this one's weird. Hummingbirds
Okay.
are the only bird that can fly backwards.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the, they're just like, they are the most amazing bird.
They are.
To
They
be
really
honest
are.
with you. They really are. I mean, for that to be just kind of just like staying there, it's like in that place. And I forget like how many beats per minute they have in their heart rate. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's
I think.
huge. If you go to
Yeah,
if
it's
you go to the Franklin
ridiculous.
Institute, you can listen to heartbeats of different animals, and hummingbirds like, and elephants like, zoom, zoom. And then you're waiting 5 minutes for the next heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Oh,
this
man.
one, to finish it off, to go back to the episode where Steve made us talk about mosquitoes. So
Oh, there you
we all hate
Love it.
mosquitoes.
Yeah,
but
we sure
here's
do.
something we need to know. Only female mosquitoes are the ones that bite. So we need to put an apology out to all the male mosquitoes.
Male mosquitoes.
Because we were being mean to them that day.
So I definitely want to take homage to that fact. Absolutely, John. Yeah, sorry for all the male mosquitoes out
We
there.
didn't
that were
mean to be
offended
mean
by our
to all the
podcast.
males. We only have a
Yeah,
problem
exactly.
with female mosquitoes.
We're sexist
Yeah.
that way.
Exactly right.
Steve said we, and he wasn't even on that episode.
He wasn't even
He could
there.
have got away
So-
with you guys suck, but he took one for the team. Look at that.
Exactly.
I'm a team player, man. I'll take it. I gave you the article to talk about anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, guys, why don't we go ahead and just dive right into topic one? And, we love talking about social media and bashing them over the head. And this one I absolutely loved when Steve sent it to us because I've had a love-hate relationship now, more on the hate side of things with this app, LinkedIn.
That's
I
just
like the
because you
demon-
don't like remote work.
Well, that's true. That's true. But on top of that, it's also Facebook Lite because everybody just diatribes all about business, and sometimes it's just really, really
Or not about
bad.
business.
Yes.
or not about business. Yeah, exactly. Then you get those hawkish people that come in and say, "Don't do this, don't do this." And you're not allowed to talk politics on LinkedIn. And it's like it's so utterly hilarious. But in any event, we got an article here, Yahoo.com. LinkedIn ran social experiments on 20 million users over 5 years. And basically how they did it from 2015 to 19, guys, LinkedIn randomly varied the proportion of weak and strong contacts suggested by its people you may know algorithm. You've seen those, I'm sure. There's, you might know this person. Do you know this person? Do you know that person? I'm like,
They're
no,
almost
I don't
never
know any
right.
of these people.
Yeah.
Exactly. The company's automated system for recommending new connections to its users. Tests were detailed in a study published this month in the journal Science, co-authored by researchers at LinkedIn, MIT, Stanford, and the Harvard Business School. So it was all a huge collaboration. Tech giants like LinkedIn, the world's largest professional network, routinely run large-scale experiments in which they try out different versions of app features, web designs, and algorithms on different people. The whole thing was, though, if you read on further in the article, they didn't tell anybody about this.
Right.
No one knew that this was going on. And then, of course, we have Michael Zimmer, an associate professor of computer science and the director of the Center for Data Ethics and Society at Marquette University. Another very expensive title.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah, it does sound expensive. He said this, quote, "The findings suggest that some users had better access to job opportunities or a meaningful difference in access to job opportunities. These are the kind of long-term consequences that need to be contemplated when we think of the ethics of engaging in this kind of big data research," end quote. Kind of interesting in this regard, guys. Steve, I know you're an active LinkedIn user, as am I. What initial thoughts on this since you brought this article to our attention, sir?
I mean, that's the last part you just read is the part that bothers me. It's one thing if it's like, well, we're experimenting with users. Some of them get to have button that other people don't get to have, and it's like it turns the background light from dark or something, and who cares?
Yeah.
But when you're actually messing with people's livelihoods and opportunities to, you know, seek employment or make connections that can help them in a business sense to make the money, and you don't tell them that, you know, they're getting screwed, that's kind of low. Which kind of brought me to the whole point of why I recommended this article, which was people have to remember that social media exists to make money for itself and will only do things that benefit it. They are not there to be benevolent to you. And I was actually in a LinkedIn training a couple weeks ago to you know find out better ways to use it, better ways to market yourself on LinkedIn. And the guy was like, "Look, certain things you post there, LinkedIn is not going to promote it because it doesn't help drive traffic to LinkedIn. You know, like if you put a YouTube link in your LinkedIn post, it's not going to get as much promotion as if you just stuck the video in LinkedIn, because that will keep people on LinkedIn instead of sending them somewhere else."
Wow.
So these social media sites are in it to make money for themselves.
Yeah.
And are not necessarily going to do the best thing for you or
for
promote you, which is what you're there to do. So you have to remember that when you're working with social media sites.
Yeah. Good point. Very good point.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
John, what do you think about all of this with LinkedIn?
To Steve's point, we were talking about it before. That's our plight with social media, because we talk about things that social media doesn't want us to talk about. So we don't get super duper promotion all the time, and we don't get some things we do. We'll get good runs on there, but we're talking about stuff that helps Facebook and helps Twitter and helps, because we're bringing, they promote that stuff. They won't promote anything that I say about Zuckerberg. That's not good for them. They don't want that.
It's really amazing here.
Facebook does not give us any track if we mention how bad Facebook sucks. We literally get 0 views. Like, it just
only though if it's reported in the mainstream media when it's bad. Remember that bot we were like making fun of? What was it called? I forget what it was called. But
LEQ.
Yeah. No. It wasn't LEQ. It was
the other bot. We talked.
Yeah, it was another bot.
The one that trashed its maker. Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I'll have to look that up again. This is interesting too, guys, from this article. Just scrolling further on down. Experiments on users by big internet companies have a checkered history.
No.
Really, you don't say.
Oh my God.
Really, you don't say.
I wonder how long it took them to write that sentence.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the first sentence they wrote in the article. Then they just had to figure out where to stick it.
Exactly. 8 years ago, a Facebook study describing how the social network had quietly manipulated what posts appeared in users' news feeds in order to analyze the spread of negative and positive emotions on its platform was published. I think I remember hearing about that, guys.
Yeah,
years ago. I remember, all that kind of stuff, likes, dislikes, all that kind of stuff. It was being tracked.
It's like in Ghostbusters 2 when they find Egon in the lab and he's like got the little girl and they give her the puppy in the room, and then he's like, let's see what happens when we take away the puppy. That's like the games these internet giants are playing with us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's give them posts about nothing but Ukraine. See how they react.
See how they react.
See how they feel.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
The week-long experiment, guys, with that whole thing of like manipulating the news feeds and whatnot, was conducted on 689,003 users. I love the 3
that's specific.
And part of that.
Yeah, that's
689,003 users quickly generated a backlash. So, I mean, that's just utterly hilarious. I just love that actual number. It's just like it has to have 3 additional, not 689K.
I think they made that number up so they would make you think that it was scientific.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if they were like roughly, this many people, we wouldn't take it as serious. But if they give you like an exact digit, where they expect us to go, oh man, that must have been real scientific.
Yeah. I think for me, the LinkedIn thing, guys, for me is like, it has benefited me in some ways in my career. No question about it. You're able to make contacts within businesses and contacts, things along those lines.
Especially people you might not meet otherwise.
Exactly. Yeah. But that right there, I've always thought, to me, Steve, it's like, it's better to make the connection then introduce your LinkedIn, as opposed to, well, let me just, kind of like search for you on LinkedIn, and then not let the social media giant essentially do the work for you. You go out and you like look for those contacts that can help benefit your career.
Yeah, that's
along those lines. I think where I kind of
the training I got, was about kind of because I used to think you should know the person before you connect with them on LinkedIn.
Yes,
and that's not really a good way to grow your network, because then you'll never meet people in like California, because I don't go to California. They might be helpful to me for some reason, so it's good to be able to reach out and connect with people who But so I will kind of read posts and read newsletters and search groups and stuff for people. I don't trust LinkedIn to tell me who I should connect with. Absolutely,
that should be every social media, whether it's even internet dating apps, as advice full on. Like, don't take their advice.
Yeah,
it's not going to work out well.
And to that point too, it's always important to read kind of like that fine print. Always make sure that do you know this person fully, completely, that kind of deal, before selecting any sort of like, okay, I definitely want to be friends with this person, that kind of a deal, as opposed to just blindly, to you guys both points, just blindly accepting what LinkedIn suggests you should do. No, don't do that.
Well, Instagram created a whole society on that of collecting people. There was, they just ran that algorithm to like, this influencer, that influencer, and that. Now you see Instagram posted, we have 60 million followers. They don't know anybody because they followed what Instagram wanted.
Yep.
The training I went to, the guy did this really eye-opening slide, which after I saw it made a lot of sense to me, which was when you get a message on LinkedIn, a request to connect, if it's a bot or somebody who's like, sending automated kind of things, the message always looks the same. It's always, hi, your name, and then a message like, your profile really impressed me. And he's like, nobody's profile impresses anybody. That's really not how this works. But it's like that he had a whole bunch of bot, connection requests. They all the structure was practically identical, so you kind of know. Wow. And now I'm like, okay, I will never send a message to connect to somebody that looks like that.
Exactly.
Because they might think I'm a bot.
Such a great point. All right, guys. Well, here we go with topic number 2, and this one's a little bit interesting. I heard that over there. Ha 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 ha. What would happen if the NHL were to expand from 32 teams to 36 teams? This was from an article that we found on fullpresshockey.com. Guys seem to think that it could be viable. Steve, thoughts on that real quick before we get started?
Well, people are probably wondering why we have the map up here. We're going to use the map to show how silly the divisions are that this guy made, but just to tackle the overall concept initially, we already have 32 teams, and it's hard enough for all 32 of those teams to field viable fourth line and in some cases third line personnel. Yeah. And we're expecting to, if all right, we're 4 new teams, we'll say 20 rosters spots a team, 80 new roster spots for, you're just going to further dilute the talent. I just don't see.
Yeah, you're diluting the talent on all levels, because it's not like they're commanding. The AHL is commanding top talent, so you're pulling all the best players from the AHL now.
Yeah, that's a huge problem. Yeah,
and many of them are
many
of them are what you'd refer to as like quadruple A, players. They're not really NHL talent, but they're pretty good for AHL.
Little too old for the NHL, or a little too young for the NHL is more with the AHL. And you'd be literally diluting the talent by pulling them up.
Yeah, exactly.
So from that perspective, it's just dumb. And then where he wants to do it, where he wants to expand these teams.
Yeah, we found there were 4 expansion teams, and it was very interesting. He has Hartford as one, He wants to bring back Atlanta. I don't know why, because every time they try Atlanta, it doesn't work.
The NHL has failed there not once, but twice.
Twice.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, I mean, after we went over this earlier this week, I saw an article that said Anson Carter is looking for some investors to bring back the Atlanta Thrashers franchise.
Wow.
Anson Carter has been around the league a long time. He's a very good in the booth not in the booth. He's in the studio at NBC.
Mm-hmm.
The guy knows hockey. He ought to know it's not going to work in Atlanta. It's just not going to work.
Exactly. But then we also have, so it's not only just Hartford and Atlanta, but we've got Quebec in there as the third team, and then the fourth team is Houston. Houston has had WHA. They were involved in that, and they do. I think they did, John, at one point have a minor league.
I have no idea.
I think
they had an AHL team for a while.
Okay.
For a while.
And now that's
this guy.
Yeah, now that's in Austin. Like the franchise is now.
Maybe. But this writer was lazy and just picked the Houston Aeros as his fourth team. And then to go back to Quebec. Quebec is in Canada, the hockey hotbed of the world.
Yeah.
They couldn't even keep a team. Their team was so bad, they had a generational players like, nah, it's okay, I don't want to play for you.
I'm good.
Nah.
They wouldn't even sell out the arena when they were good. Like, they were a decent team at one time and nobody went there.
Exactly right.
And you want to put a team back there?
Yeah. They're not even fair weather up there. They just don't want to go. Like,
it's crazy.
Good, bad, it doesn't matter.
Crazy.
Like, they're not watching.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
although they did have a
that's also my
beautiful jersey, though.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Quebec?
Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great color. Great
kind
color.
of like the blue with the.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, that's true. And Hartford did as well. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, he broke this up. Interesting with the 36 teams. He has basically 18 teams in 2 conferences. He's named the conferences to his credit here. He's named them the Prince of Wales Conference and the Clarence Campbell Conference. Already major points on all three of us, right? I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Well,
way better than East and West.
Yeah.
Well, when we get to the map, we're going to see East and West is
here's the problem,
probably not good names for those conferences based on what he did.
Yes.
Exactly. So why don't we go ahead and get started, guys? This is in the Prince of Wales Conference. We're looking at the Adams division. And to be perfectly honest, we're in agreement with him on this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Steve, if you would, you've got Boston, Buffalo, with the 4 East Coast Canadian teams, Toronto, Ottawa, Quebec, and Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, you're looking at it, and it's perfect. You know, they're
Nothing
all right in that northeast quadrant. Nothing wrong with that at all. I think
it's a good one.
Yeah.
Real good one.
Agreed.
Yeah. The Patrick division. This is where it kind of gets a little bit interesting. There's a little bit of history here, obviously, with this. You've got the 2 New York teams. You've got New Jersey in there.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got Philly, Pittsburgh, and Washington. So you've got that whole area in there.
And this
Steve draws that map.
is extremely
John?
similar to before they went to the elongated divisions, and I don't even know how they changed that. I don't pay attention to the standings out. But this was a division before, right? Pittsburgh, Philly,
essentially.
Good history.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, good
and
history, good rivalries. Yep.
Yeah.
In isolation, there's nothing wrong with this either.
No, absolutely not.
But as we're going to see, there's a little town here that they put a team in called Hartford, who's somehow excluded from each of these little circles.
Exactly.
Now, so where are we going to put them? Let's see.
Well, this is where it falls off the rails here. Right. You're exactly right, Steve, because why don't we start in Hartford, but then we got to make a left turn into Columbus. And then we got to go south. Then we got to go south down to Atlanta, Carolina, Florida, and Tampa. So Florida is basically Sunrise, Florida, just north of Miami.
Yes.
So that's where that's going.
And I think you said they were Carolina's in Raleigh, so that's kind
Carolina's
of
Carolina's in Raleigh. Yeah.
So
you got
said
Miami
Atlanta,
down
right?
there.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta's in there. Yeah.
Right. So I got to get
Carolina.
Columbus here.
Yeah.
Carolina.
There you go.
Crap. Let me do that again. Atlanta, Columbus.
This,
And we're
right?
gonna come up here. Okay.
Yeah, no. Not... We're already off the beaten path here.
Yeah, this is
To be honest with you, right? A little odd. Because this is where it goes wrong. It really, what are you doing? Like, what's happening here? You know? Hartford is the one that...
It could be done a little bit cleaner. Not the trolling, I'm talking the alignment.
Yeah, agree.
Exactly right. Well,
Well,
guys,
if you think this is bad.
Yeah, if you think
I
this
know.
is bad.
It kind of goes from a little bad to worse. Yeah.
We have the entire United States, which isn't the East. Now we gotta squeeze an entire conference of teams into them.
All right,
So
I'm
this
going
is
to make a
interesting.
request. We start with the division
Southern
that had
teams
Vancouver.
first?
No, that has Vancouver.
Yes.
Because that one, I need to draw that one first in order to get the other ones, because otherwise I got a real problem.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. No problem. All right, so this is the Smythe division. Again, good names for these divisions, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Smythe division. So let's go ahead and start with Vancouver, Steve, and then we're going to make our way to Calgary and Edmonton. And then we're going to hit up Winnipeg.
Which that
But
is
then we're going
bad.
to do not too bad. But then we're going to go
Not too
due
bad.
south
Yep. Straight.
and
Minneapolis,
include
right?
Dallas. No, we're going to go due south to Dallas
Nope.
and Houston.
Nope. You're going to where's Dallas? It's in Frisco, and then you got to go to Houston. 4 more
Now,
hours.
I don't even know what that's looking like, but I'm not a big fan of what's on screen right now. I'm not sure what that is, but
Well, when we design divisions, we like to foster rivalries, and there's no better rivalry we can think of than to put Houston against Vancouver 18 times a year.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Exactly.
Is this what I'm going to call the penis division? I'm not sure what this is, guys.
Pretty close there.
It's pretty bad.
Well, if you would have just bold Seattle in there, then, sorry.
I could totally see the new Houston GM going, okay, so what's the bill for the divisions? Oh wow, really? We don't even pay our stars that much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, let's move on to the Norris division. This is kind of still a little funky here. So you got
actually, let's just point out again. I was doing it, to be facetious, but here's Seattle.
Yeah.
Here's Vancouver.
Seattle's right there. Yeah. That's kind of our
Yeah.
point to that Hartford being in that other division. They're right down the street from New York.
it's just not good.
Right around the
Boston.
corner. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right around,
it's not good at all.
It's not that far. Connecticut's not that far
No.
away from New York.
Yeah, Hartford's like right there next to Boston, right there next to New York. Let's make them play Tampa and Florida a bunch of times. That makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Norris division, guys. Let's go ahead and move on from here. And again, this is kind of weird. Chicago and Detroit already
Okay.
off to a good start.
Yeah, not a bad.
You got to throw Minnesota, so that's already okay. You got
Okay.
good
Yeah, I'm okay
proximity.
with those 3. Yeah.
Okay.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, okay.
Okay, now.
Yeah, you got St. Louis in there. Already, I'm going to get lost. But then you got to go all the way out to the West Coast for Colorado,
Okay.
and then double
Colorado's
back.
not on the West Coast, but
No, but go on.
Swing a Louis to Denver.
Denver. Come back over the Gulf of Mexico. What, to Nashville?
Go back over the Nashville. Exactly. So again, I don't know where we're going with this. John,
the
thoughts on this
Nashville?
division?
The Nashville would have been. The Colorado doesn't make any sense. This is the same. It's the same shape as the other division. It's just a little bit closer.
Exactly.
Colorado
think
Colorado makes more sense in that division, and then you would
This
move
one,
Dallas to that division. That would make more sense.
Mm-hmm. That would make more sense.
I
Yeah,
think
great.
this guy just has a thing for subliminal sexual imagery, but that's fine.
Exactly right. All right, guys. Well, we end with the Vesna. division from Full Press Hockey. So again, Steve, we've got San Jose, LA, Anaheim, and Seattle. So you got all the West Coast teams. And then you got Arizona and Vegas in there. So if you're going down,
Phoenix and
Vegas, yep. And then you got Seattle.
So again, in isolation, this is not awful.
Yeah,
not
at all. Not at all. Yeah, this would make sense.
Yeah.
Right. But
again,
this is...
Yeah, go ahead, Steve. Go ahead. Big time, X, exactly. Where it goes off the rails is really in the East Coast, where you're sticking Columbus and Hartford in a division with 4 teams in the Southeast. That makes no sense whatsoever. It really doesn't.
When you have teams in the South already.
Yeah.
Right. You have teams in the South. Columbus and Hartford are, there's 5 NHL cities generally in between the two of them.
Exactly.
As the crow flies.
Yeah.
But they don't get to fall in any of those divisions? I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. And that really kind of compounded as you went on to the West, because he was like in scramble mode at that point. Because like, oh crap, I got Dallas and Houston. I got to throw them in. Oh, I got an idea. Let's take in the 4 teams up in the Canada to play them. It's like, really?
I think John was right. I think he did this first, and then he screwed himself here.
Yeah, once the East and
literally.
the West were done, I think that's when.
Yeah.
Because that's it. We did it too, and then we had to stop and restart again.
Right.
Because we had 2 where we were like, oh, we agree with these 2, but we don't agree with any of these. And then we started realizing, okay, well, let's closer and closer and closer. And as you'll see, Steve will draw this for us. Coming up, we have our version, which makes a hell of a lot more sense.
Oh, heck yeah.
And I'm going to draw it in blue because it's good.
Yeah, exactly. So this, right off the bat, again, Adams division, we're in full agreement. Boston, Buffalo, with the 4 Canadian East Coast cities, Toronto, Ottawa, Quebec, Montreal. Solid guys, right? I mean, this is
nothing wrong with that.
You got great rivalries with this. Yeah, all the way across the board.
Yeah, Toronto and Buffalo are right next to each other. You keep the Boston-Toronto rivalry.
You got Toronto,
got Montreal,
Ottawa,
Toronto.
Yeah.
Yep.
Montreal, Ottawa.
And that Montreal-Boston. Yep. Montreal, Ottawa. Yep, exactly. So good.
And then you got them
there.
screwing around up here in Quebec. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Patrick division. So this one I'd like to call the I-95 corridor division, guys. You got the 2 New York teams, Jersey, of course. We're throwing in Hartford.
Yep.
Philly and Washington. I mean, look at this.
I've always liked whales more than penguins.
I-95 corridor.
That's
Amtrak.
beautiful.
It's right
Amtrak,
there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Easy ride.
easy Amtrak.
Yeah,
not
easy
like
ride.
down to Richmond, get off, on the wooden platform Amtrak. Like, this is like the civilized Amtrak.
Too funny. Too funny. All right, so then let's move on to what he deems the O'Brien division, where he kind of went off the rails.
Right. 2
Noobs is here to fix the O'Brien division. So let's take a look at this, guys. We've got, Florida. So you got the Florida Panthers down there, Sunrise, Tampa Bay Lightning, and then you got Dallas and Houston. So we're including the Dallas-Houston rivalry, and then we're including Carolina or Raleigh with Atlanta. Hey, guess what? You got Southeast teams all grouped together.
This one makes sense. There's not a lot of air flight that is long.
Nope.
And
they're all right there.
Philly to Orlando is roughly 2 hours. As I've made that one to go to Disney World.
Yeah.
So I have to imagine Tampa to Houston is shorter distance wise. It's got to be 2 hours, maybe 3 max.
Yeah, or an hour and a half or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
and Dallas isn't much farther away. So
no, it's only 4 hours north of Houston, and Dallas to
by car.
Yeah, 4 hours by car. Dallas to Philly is only 4.5 hours flight wise, and Dallas to Tampa isn't as far as Dallas to Philly. So it looks like everything would be much shorter.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not bad. Not a bad grouping there.
Yep. All right, so let's move on now to the Clarence Campbell Conference, and we're going to the Smythe Division, guys. So, and again, we're going to go from West Coast, starting there. I think, Steve, would be easiest for you.
All right.
So you've got Seattle and Vancouver. Hey, guess what? You got natural rivalry there.
There you go.
then you have Calgary, Edmonton,
which is
and then
on
you
the way.
keep going, which is on the way, and then you got Winnipeg and Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul. So again, you've got a much longer. You're crossing across essentially that entire northwest border of the United States and Canada. You're grouping all those cities together. Your thoughts, John? Thoughts there on that? I think solid, right?
Traveled much north, so I don't know what the travel is like up there, but this just seems like it makes sense. You have an instant rivalry in the division between Calgary and Edmonton. You have an instant rivalry in the division between Seattle and Vancouver. Minnesota's a little bit too west to be east, but it's a little bit too east to be west, so it should be north. And then Winnipeg,
you got Winnipeg
right in the middle, north also. So it just makes sense.
Yeah. You got great natural rivalries there. Steve, thoughts on that? Really?
Yeah, I mean, John's right. Vancouver, Seattle is no-brainer. Edmonton, Calgary have to stay together. Winnipeg, because of their location, it makes the most sense to group them with these guys. And Minnesota, even though they're probably closer to Detroit and Chicago, as you'll see, there's a lot more hockey in kind of the heartland here.
Yes.
And Minnesota was just sort of the odd one out. And it sucks for them, but you know, it's not unbearable.
It's not unbearable. Yeah, exactly. All right. Norris division.
Minnesota Winnipeg is not, you know, there's no reason that can't be a nice little rivalry.
That could be a rivalry, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, guys, Norris division. So this is going to be a very interesting division here. And again, we think geographically makes the most sense. So you have, let's just say, we're going to start in Pittsburgh, and then we include Columbus, Detroit, and Chicago, and then loop to St. Louis and Nashville. So again, starting there. So you're starting in Pittsburgh,
St. Louis, Chicago, Detroit. There you go.
So Steve makes
That's
that
not
drawing.
bad looking at all.
No, it works.
Middle part of the country.
Pittsburgh's close to Ohio.
John?
Detroit's close to Ohio. Chicago's close to Ohio. Nashville's close to Ohio. It's not not that hard. And I actually like all the
probably
teams.
about.
I like all the teams.
Yeah,
in this.
go ahead,
you got
Johnny.
a little new and you get a little old. So your Chicago and Detroit can kind of shine more light on the Columbus team, and maybe you get some fans in, because it's all about getting fans in the other cities too. So creating newer rivalries and stuff like that. I think a heartland hockey, you could totally have some kind of cool marketing where
Great
a
point.
thing like this would work.
Yeah.
No,
Go
ahead.
Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I was going to say, I know a lot of people are going to complain that you lose the intra-division Philly-Pittsburgh rivalry.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
But
frankly, up until Sidney Crosby, I didn't really give two craps about Pittsburgh.
Me neither.
They couldn't win in Philadelphia for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I always hated the Rangers and Devils more.
They were almost out of the league too. If you stop to think about it. The Penguins were declared bankrupt for a couple of times. They had to reorg and everything in that regard. So it was like, whoa. Because it's not we're discounting Pittsburgh, but it's like, well, there really hasn't been, outside of the Crosby era, really hasn't been that much of a rivalry. So we thought, well, okay, throw them in with someone that's closer. You got Detroit Red Wings that are right there, and they're up and coming. Chicago's in there, good historical rivalry, and then you throw in St. Louis. And then you got the two new
Columbus
teams,
is right
and
there.
Nashville.
Yes, and
Columbus is right next door.
And
So it's right
Pittsburgh in
there.
the NFL is in a different conference than Philadelphia. So why would you have one where they're together and then one where they're apart?
And not only so they're in a different conference. The Pirates are in a different division than the Phillies.
Yeah.
Again, there's no real Phillies Pirates rivalry. Why does there have to be a Flyers Penguins rivalry?
Yeah.
And the Sixers are in a different division. Oh wait. Sorry.
They're in their own division. Hey, shout out to Joel Embiid, by the way, for coming to American Citizen. Shout out.
Yes.
Congratulations
good
to
job,
that, brother.
Yeah, good job,
Absolutely. All right, so here we go. Final division, guys, the Vezina division of the Clarence Campbell Conference. And this, I think, is pretty good. You've got the 4 West Coast teams. You've got San Jose, LA, Anaheim. So you got all those California teams. And then you got Arizona, Vegas, and Colorado all grouped together. So you got Phoenix, Vegas, Denver. I don't think you could ask for, again, another good, solid group, right? I mean, all within proximity of each other.
You're doing really good with rivalry building. You got two teams technically in LA, not too far away from Phoenix. Colorado, Vegas aren't that far away. It just works.
Yeah, it just works right there.
With this completed map now, you can kind of see why Minnesota was sort of the oddball out, because it just, you had 6 teams, you had 6 teams, you had 6 teams right here, 6.
If Minnesota wasn't in Minnesota, it was in Boise. This would be perfect. Like, it would look exactly the same going across the map.
Yeah. But
Damn you, Minnesota.
I think this is much better. Yeah, exactly. So that's our thoughts on the realignment and potential expansion. Although I don't think it's going to expand anytime soon.
I don't think it needs to expand.
It shouldn't happen either.
Yes.
But if it does, we've made it good. So
yes,
and we're here to help. That's right. All right, gents. Here we go with topic 3, and we've always done season previews. This one though is going to be a little rough. Talking about the Philadelphia Flyers and our expectations for the 2022-23 season.
Well, Alex Page specifically asked for this. And
really?
So we always like to please our fans.
Shout out. Huge shout out to Doc. Shout out to Doc. Love what you're doing there, bud.
This is for him.
This is for him.
And those listeners out there, if you have requests for stuff you want us to cover, please leave it in the comments somewhere.
We will do that.
Two noobs talking at gmail.com. Any topics? So I'm going to throw that up there on screen. Why
we'll do our best not to ignore it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, we won't. But yes, we will.
Yeah.
So there's our Flyers preview. So you guys
There's your Flyers preview. There you go. No.
Moving on to topic 4, Joe.
Moving on to topic 4. Right. Exactly. Gents, this is. I mean. We famously ranted, I think it was episode 93 of Chuck Fletcher. I mean, really clusterfucking the entire thing.
We still don't like him.
We still don't like him. Hasn't changed 12 weeks later. But, gents, I'm just going to read.
12 weeks?
Oh, it's been 12 weeks.
Oh, God.
Just FYI. Yeah, it's been 12 episodes later, and it's like, oh, my gosh, it's going to be so long. This is a note, though, from apparently John Tortorella wrote this to all the Flyers season ticket holders. So I'm just going to read this, guys. This is probably our shining jewel in a piece of shit season. Here we go. I want to start off by thanking you. It's your passion, loyalty, and strong voice as Flyers fans that I've always admired and made me jump at the chance to coach in this city and this team.
Had nothing to do with the Dragons.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing.
That won't show up. You've heard me spend most of the summer talking about how exciting this year will be and why. Really. Now you're about to witness it as we enter our first training camp. Full transparency. I want to tell you what exactly you will see from our group day 1. I'm not here to talk about last season or past performances. Frankly, that doesn't matter to me. What matters is the opportunity in front of us. It's a chance to earn jobs, earn playing time, build towards creating a high standard for the players who put on that jersey to earn a place in our locker room. I can't promise you that it will happen overnight, but I can promise you this. It will be a hard camp, and what will come out of it is a team that will make you proud. You in caps. Every single player will be tough to play against, and above all, give an honest effort. Oh boy. If they don't, you won't see that player very much. Good. That and that alone will be the driving force to our success and will define our 2022-23 season. I'm hoping, as we go through this journey, that you will identify with us and we will identify with you. Oh my. I look forward to seeing you there with us. This team, including me, is fueled by Philly's passion, and I have no doubt that the team's effort will match the work ethic of this city. John Tortorella. After hearing that, John, your immediate reaction. What do you think, bud?
I'm excited to have him here. I think he's good at what he does.
Oh yeah.
My only complaint is I don't think he has anything to work with.
Don't say.
The best bricklayer can't lay bricks without bricks.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm excited he's here. Hopefully, he can start to build something, but it's a real start to build. This is building a foundation. This isn't building it, finishing the house or putting the bathroom in. This is starting with the foundation. You're digging the first hole here, and that's what he has to do. I have all the confidence in the world in that man in creating a winner. I just don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
No, exactly. Steve, your thoughts after hearing Tort's letter there?
I don't know whether he's actually the author, author of that letter.
That's
but
true.
I agree
I'm
with
glad
John.
you said it. I didn't want to piss anybody off.
I'm excited. I'm with John. I'm excited to have him here. I think he's a good coach. I like everything I've seen from him in press conferences. Everything he said, I'm happy to hear. And I think he's real good for kind of bringing something back to this team that it doesn't seem to have had for a while, which was accountability. I know this season's not really going to go anywhere. I just want to have something fun to watch. If you have a team that at least can compete in the game and you have a chance to win, that's something more exciting to watch than what we've been subjected to the last few years, where it's god awful.
Yeah.
And I think, whether or not he's the author, that letter expresses a lot of the sentiments that John Tortorella has, which are, you're going to earn your playing time. Nothing's guaranteed to anybody here. And I think you've seen that with the whole captaincy thing. He's like, I'm not ready. He actually said the other day,
he's in a rush.
He actually said the other day, he's not even sure if it's in the room right now.
That makes sense.
Which could mean because Sean Couturier is injured and isn't in the room. But,
that also worries me, though. I mean, at the end of the day, where's the leader? Who is going to take that bull by the horns?
Maybe Tortorella has to be the leader until he can hand it over. And him just not slapping a C on someone's chest and trying to fake it till he makes it. I kind of like that. I'm all for the 3A until you earn it. I'm all for it. That's one of the best. Didn't Hitchcock do that years ago in Dallas?
Oh gosh,
he might have.
It was in one of the
Flyers have also had that too. Yeah,
you 3A it until you can figure it out.
Until you figure it out. Yeah,
and I like that's something else he said, which was winning teams. The players control the message in the locker room, not the coach. So he's like, it's my job as a coach to get the players to come together and figure it out in the locker room themselves without the coaches. That's what the good teams do. And so you're right. Until he knows who can handle the captaincy and bring the team that way, don't go without a captain.
Now, there are some, I will say, diamonds in the rough there. You got a real good goaltender. I mean, we now have a number one goalie. The problem that we've got and then we also have like really good forwards. Tyler Forrester, if he gets back healthy, he has the shoulder issue. Tyson Forrester, thank you. Yeah. He gets back healthy. He's got a rocket of a shot. I love hearing rocket shots. I love that. So it's like, okay, we got something there. You got the Cates brothers. They're pretty good. They're
Noah Cates looks like a player. Like he's probably not going to be much more than a third line center, but he's a decent playmaker and he's defensively responsible. He could be a really good addition to this team.
Now, exactly. Morgan Frost coming back. You got something like that. He showed a little bit of flashes here and there. The big one that I really am focused on is Travis Konechny. Either this is his season where he takes basically takes Tortorella's word for it and becomes like Martin St. Louis light. I'm not comparing him to Martin St. Louis, but he has that type of game. Small, diminutive guy, quick on his skates to get into the right scoring areas. it's either he gets his ass in line or he's out. I have a feeling this is it for him. Really, at the end of the day.
Could be.
It could be. It could be. Defensively, I'm scared to death. I am really scared to death. You put all of your, Ryan Ellis, we don't know if he's going to play again.
As in ever.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like we just wait every year for the press release to come out that he's out for another season. That seems to be what he brings to the team.
And you put Tony DeAngelo, you make the trade with Carolina expecting Ryan Ellis to come back. And what Chuck Fletcher does is he puts himself behind the 8 ball when he does trades like this. He's counting on something that has not happened yet. And you get Tony DeAngelo now. He's the number one guy.
Well,
he's the number one guy.
Do we know that's, maybe he made the trade knowing Ellis wasn't going to be there. I've certainly heard him say to that
possible.
Effect. If Ryan Ellis is here, I'm perfectly fine with the Tony DeAngelo trade because he can slot in on your second pair.
I love that.
Great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You're asking him to pair with Ivan Provorov, who has struggled when he hasn't had a steady number one type defenseman with him.
And also, too, like Provorov, what is this, his 5th year? I think? 4th, 5th year?
More than that.
Yeah, it seems like he's been here forever.
I mean, you got to
He's got to take the next step. He
certainly does. Yeah.
He needs to start. He needs to start becoming what they were talking about him when he was coming up before he made it in. He needs that kind of level of hockey, with the level of hockey he was playing before he got here.
Yeah.
Kevin Hayes, guys.
I love Kevin Hayes.
Yeah,
I do too.
I have no issues.
He to me is he reminds me so much of Keith Primo. The size and the stature and the way he goes about getting in position to slot.
He's got better hands than Keith Primo.
Yeah.
Kevin Hayes does some things.
Yeah.
Kevin Hayes does some things with the puck where I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Oh, wow. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the one constant, I think. But he's the only one. He's the only kind of constant that we have.
When he came back last year, the 5th time or whatever he came back, played the last 20 games, he finally looked like himself. He was not himself the first few times he was trying to play through the injury. When he finally came back, the last 20 games, he actually looked like he did when he first got here, which was pretty damn good. Now, I don't know that that's number one center good, but he's good.
At least he's a constant.
And he will be there. Yeah. Farabee, Joel Farabee, guys. The latest I've heard is he's out with a herniated disc. Is that correct on that?
No,
Steve,
he had the same surgery Jack Eichel had.
Okay.
And I think he's due back, if not sometime in October, then maybe like November.
Okay, so about a month.
But he is skating at these training camp, but he has not been cleared for contact, is the latest I heard.
Okay. You need him in the lineup.
On the way. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, you need him in the lineup.
Yeah.
Tremendous strides, really, in that season. Yeah.
That's not bad if he's coming back in November. That's fine. It's nothing to worry about.
Yeah. I mean, and if you get him if he scores 20 to 25, coming off an injury, I'm perfectly fine with that.
That's a huge plus.
I mean, but really,
we need to find somebody to score.
Oh my gosh, yes, we do.
One name we haven't mentioned yet is Owen Tippett, who I've watched him. After we got him in the Giroux trade, I really like his game. He's big, but he can move.
Young talent.
He's got a quick release on his shot.
Okay.
He can play.
Oh yeah,
he literally can play.
He's been able to finish at every level but the NHL. Like he's getting breakaway after breakaway. He's just not finishing. Once he learns how to finish, he can be a really good player.
There you go.
That could just come with time and comfort in the city, because you don't know. Like he was here only for a short period of time. So maybe once he gets his apartment and he gets his dog all settled and all that, maybe he just starts finishing from the beginning. You don't know.
Right.
The kid can flat out he passed the eye test as soon as he stepped on the ice. He absolutely passed the eye test. So that's one guy I'm looking forward to watching this year.
Cam Atkinson, guys. He's played with Tortorella in Columbus, and they had a good relationship there, I believe, if I'm correct on that. And he has had glowing things to say about Torts. What are your thoughts on Cam? I'll go to Steve first. Do you think he's one of the alternate captains if the C has not been found yet?
That'd be my question. Tortorella, at least early on, will lean on him to be part of the leadership group, in the locker room, and to get his message across. Certainly, and I think Cam's
with it. Yeah, the same message.
Yeah, and I think Cam's got good traits as far as that goes. I'm not. Cam Atkinson is not a worry to me.
Yeah,
there you go.
He's a leader and a good player. You need them. Yeah. You need them in the room. Like that's what you need.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Scott Lawton, I know he'll probably be third, fourth line center, I would imagine. Well, with all the injuries.
With the injury to Couturier, he might be number 2.
That's scary. Going into the season, if he's 4 fighting for 3, I'm happy. But being placed 2 because of injury, that
and I like Scott Lawton. I do too. I think he's got a lot of good grit. He's a good player. He's got some hands on him. He's a little bit streaky though as far as points. So he's not really suited for a second line. But I'm with you. If he's your third line guy, great.
Yeah, I have no issues with that.
But
all right. So ideally, is the key piece.
But I mean, we have heard he might be back.
Yeah,
in a
real
few
good
weeks.
things. Yeah,
which is good.
Yeah. Which is good.
That is a huge positive.
Yeah. But if we're being realistic, we need a new GM, don't we? I mean, at the end of the day. So I think I've read somewhere, guys, and I mentioned to you this before we went online, 3% of I think it was 450 polled somewhere. I think it was a small sample poll. 3% have confidence in this GM. 3%.
Yeah, but 3%.
Now,
3% of
you
the
have
Flyers
to go.
Fan base that's crazy because the other.
You have to go so far back to there have been some really bad GMs. Harold Katz, I think, was a horrible owner. Norman Brayman was really bad. Harry Gamble was a terrible GM for the Eagles back in the 80s and 90s. But they were somewhat competent. They just had horrible. They just couldn't draft their way out of a paper bag. I don't think I've ever seen the amount of hatred this guy has received in any of the Philly teams in my lifetime, guys. In my lifetime.
Well,
and I don't even know what to say. Clark had his detractors, but it was this guy.
I think he's
this guy.
To compare them to the guys you were talking about, I think actually Fletcher has drafted well.
Yeah.
I think the problem has been more on the development side, which I don't know if that falls on Fletcher, but what does fall on Fletcher is when you have a superstar player who basically is all but admitting he wants to come play for you.
Yeah.
And you can't move a contract, before it becomes every team knows that you have to move him and they have you over a barrel. They want your 2023 pick to take him off your hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where you really screwed yourself in the franchise.
Yeah. And you paint yourself into a corner. You're exactly right, Steve. Yeah. And so that amount of heat that he has received has really just been, it's been, John, that's just so overwhelming, right? At the end of the day for
especially
him.
the Flyers fan base. The Flyers fan base is not one to openly hate the organization. They trust the organization. Ed Snyder created a great bond with Flyers fans that you trust.
I don't think they trusted it. Because people always complain, "Oh, Bob Clark never gets a goalie."
They always had their naysay, but it was never. It was never this one-sided. Is what I mean. You always had your. You could have your Flyers argue, "Oh, I like this player. I like this GM. I like this coach." But this is everybody's on one side, and the other the 3% are probably 3 that don't even know Fletcher is the GM. They just watch the hockey team. So, GM's fine. I like hockey. They're not even.
Yeah.
That is.
But going
bad.
back to, I think what you were saying too earlier, what made Clark a successful GM was that they were always a perennial cup contender. They didn't win it, obviously.
Yeah.
But they were always in the top 5 or 10 conversation of Flyers are in the playoffs. How deep are they going to go?
And
that
to
kind of
they were, Steve's point, you could watch a good game. And that's all all we want, basically, in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, times have changed. Back when Clark was the GM and we were on that run, you know, the Flyers are one of the top spending teams. So you could expect them to go out and get some of the best free agents. And that's a big reason why they were so competitive.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, it's a little bit different now in a salary cap world. It's a little bit tougher to do, but it's absolutely doable. The thing that always comes back to the Flyers this season because of the timing of the draft is the people who want the Flyers to tank.
Yeah.
For this guy, Connor Bedard, who is supposed to be the next best thing since Connor McDavid, which I'd love to have him, but I'm not willing to sit through. I want a competitive team. I am not willing to sit through slop for 82 games to have the worst team in the league, I believe, has a 25% chance at the number 1 pick.
Just to have that ball.
That means there is 3/4 of a chance you're not going to get it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And when we were the worst team in 06, 07, we got the 2nd pick.
Yep.
And so missed out on Patrick Kane.
There is no guarantee that tanking is going to get you that superstar.
Yeah.
And to further, I think we've discussed this before. Detroit. Okay.
Yeah.
They made the playoffs 25 years in a row. How many times did they have the number 1 overall pick?
Yeah.
In that span.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really remember them having the number 1 pick ever.
No,
they had such a great system.
Remember having one.
Even when they got Yzerman wasn't the number 1 overall pick.
No,
he wasn't. It's what you do with the draft picks you have. You know, Pavel Datsyuk, wasn't he like the 6th round?
Something like that, yeah.
Wasn't Zetterberg a 6th round pick?
Yeah.
You know, Nick Lidstrom was not a number 1 overall. They find them.
No, they find them.
That's what you have to do. You have to be successful at drafting. You don't need to suck and get the number 1 overall draft.
Yes.
Edmonton had the number 1. Edmonton had number 1 overall draft for like 4 out of 5 years.
Yeah.
And only this year did they actually have like a competitive playoff team.
Exactly.
8-10 years later.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, it only took them that long to get there because they were horrible for so many years.
Oh,
right on the money. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, okay, so to wrap it up, guys. You know, you got an 8-team division. I'm assuming no playoffs, right, for every one of us here, I would imagine.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think but let's be honest here. We're all behind John Tortorella. I mean, you've been handed a pile of dog shit, no question about it. And you have to find a way to somehow make that piece of dog shit shine.
Yes.
Good luck. You know, that regard.
There's a couple flecks of filet mignon in that dog.
Yeah, there's a little bit.
Exactly.
He's a little bit in there. A little shiny turn here and there. We're fine.
Exactly. Yeah, but like what the Mythbusters taught us, we could definitely, you know, it just takes a little bit of time to get that shit to polish into a nice, shiny polish shit. So it takes a little bit of time.
Get to work, Tortorella.
Tortorella will extract the most out of this roster.
Yes,
no question.
I'm confident in saying.
No question.
Do you think that's
if
what
you're a Flyers fan, don't rip on this guy. This guy has nothing to work with.
Do you think that's how he's sold to management? He's like, I'll shine those turds up, no problem. Give me some shiny turds.
Might as well. Yeah.
I honestly think they hired him almost knowing that they were going to need something to get this fan base energized. And this season, as we've already said, Tortorella kind of is the reason to watch this season because you want to see what he does with these guys. You want to see the holding accountability. You want to see the extra effort. You want to see the guys. And he's already said he's going to play the kids. He's going to give him the
I love
opportunity.
I love it.
You know, he's going to extract the most out of him. But to your point, the roster, as it's currently constructed, and if Couturier is missing significant time, is probably not playoff bound.
I was just going to say, so I can't really say we're going to have a parade in June.
No.
Confidently, right?
No. We'll just put you in an insane asylum.
Thank you for I was just going to say, I mean if I was going to choose the Flyers to have a Stanley Cup parade in June, I think I would need to say this. Good call. Thank you. But for topic 4, guys, as we roll right along into Noobs, Johnny had a great idea. Kind of getting to know us more as hosts, right, John? Why don't you go ahead and take it, bud? What do you got?
So we are, like the movie draft we did a couple weeks ago, we are drafting again. Fantasy draft. Steve will start. Matt, you will be second. I will be third. It will be a snake draft. So 2 times for everybody who finishes last. But our team we need to draft now is the ultimate food party. So we need a breakfast out of you guys, a lunch, a dinner, a dessert, a midnight snack, and a guilty pleasure. And it could be anything. It could be a fond memory, something you just had, something you want right now. It could be any. We just need to know what it is and where it came from.
Oh, man.
What about steak and breakfast?
that could be your guilty pleasure.
I'm assuming that's Steve's number 1 pick right now? Okay.
I don't tend to have second breakfast, so no problem here.
There you go. Exactly.
All right, so I can't. We're this is whatever we want. So like this isn't like I can go complete gut buster and have 8,000 calories for my.
Oh yeah. It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't even have to make sense to anybody else but you.
Okay.
You could literally coffee roll, donut, eclair. It doesn't matter. It's what you want.
Nice.
It's what you want.
There you go.
Fair enough.
There you go. All right.
Steve, so you start us off.
All right. Well, we can't pick the same thing, right? So that's like the normal draft rules.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
so I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna hold off on dinner because I know none of you guys are gonna pick that.
Oh,
nice.
I guess I'll draft number 1 overall, my dessert.
Ooh.
Nice.
I'm gonna go dessert first, and I'm going with the black and white milkshake at Nifty 50s.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Wow. Very good. Very good.
It's a good one.
All right.
It's a real good one. It's good dessert.
Well, okay, for number 2, this doesn't exist anymore, but there was a great restaurant, Italian restaurant, La Vita di Bella in Horsham, off of 152 263. They had the best tiramisu I've ever had. Ever. So the tiramisu will go for my dessert right there.
Nice.
I've started a run on desserts.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Which just to say that not that place, but there was another place I would have went tiramisu from another Italian restaurant, but now I can't.
Nice.
So moving on.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. So it's the same. It's the same food, but you can't pick the same food even if it's from a different restaurant. Oh crap!
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Crap. I better make sure I get my dinner picked. Crap.
All right, John.
I'm gonna go first round pick. I'm gonna go dinner.
NyQuil chicken.
Yes, exactly. That was. It's actually marinated right now.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Children's grape or cherry?
Cherry.
Good.
So when I was in Vegas a couple times when I first started working for the company I work for now, I kept going back to this restaurant, and we went back because they had 40-ounce beers, and me and my partner at the time drank the big 40-ounce beers that we went for. One time, I stopped the waitress, and I'm like, "Do you have any specials?" And she's like, "Try the brisket street tacos. It's 3 small little tacos. It's got a bunch of sides." So I'm going the brisket street tacos from Vegas because I still think about them now. Like,
interesting.
No taco has been that good since that time.
Wow. So were they like flatbread, or were they like the actual?
No, they were little
physical.
Yeah, it was like a little, but it
Street
was a little
taco.
taco. Yeah, it was a little taco.
Nice.
But you had
Okay.
all kind, like you could sauces, and they had everything on the plate. It was
That's awesome.
so good.
That's awesome.
Tacos
All right, so
are
what do you
gone.
got for your what do you got for your rebound then, John?
My rebound, my breakfast. I don't eat breakfast, but
You have to for this.
yes,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I have to for this. I'm gonna go with the McDonald's steak, egg, and cheese back when I was a kid, because it was so good back then. It's terrible now. On the
cool.
bagel. It's the only breakfast that
On the bagel. Okay.
yeah, on the bagel.
They are bringing back Happy Meals apparently for adults. They're going to have.
I did read that.
You saw that? Yeah.
Really?
You
I
could get a
didn't know
grimace. You could get a grimace figurine in your adult Happy Meal.
that.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my gosh!
Awesome.
Wow. Oh, that's funny. Well, okay. So for me,
Yes.
so that middle pick, I'm going breakfast, and
Okay.
I have always been a fan of the Western omelet. Are you
There you
kidding me?
go.
With the ham and the the cheese and the tomatoes and everything in there. Green peppers. Are you kidding me? I love me a Western omelet, and it doesn't matter where it is. Could be Turning Point in Horsham again, or it could be like any place. Any good diner will have a Western, and it's automatic. It's an automatic for me. So Western omelet. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So Steve, what do you got there, bud?
All right. I'll go dinner so I can get that pick in.
Nice.
There you go.
And I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, at least I think with John.
I think I know
So
where
there
you're
was
going with this.
there was
yeah.
a restaurant in Ambler
Mm.
named Ristorante San Marco.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
They didn't have this on the menu, but they said if we've got the ingredients, we'll make it. So I said, veal parmesan? They're like, yeah, sure. And they brought out
Nice.
the most delicious veal parmesan
Oh,
I ever
Nice.
had. And I'm having that as my dinner because I can never have that again because they closed.
Yes.
Stupid COVID.
that's just a tremendous memory. Yeah,
that is a
you'll
huge
just never forget that. Are you kidding me? Oh, wonderful. And the rebound for you, sir. What do you got?
All right. Well, if you tell me that I can pig out,
Yep.
Mm.
I'm going to do breakfast to make sure I get this in.
Okay.
There's a place called the Danish Bakery
Ooh.
in I guess it's Rockledge.
Okay.
They make the best chocolate frosted donuts I've ever had. They are like, it's like biting into air.
Wow.
Like there
Wow.
is no reason. You put your teeth into this donut, there is no resistance.
Wow.
None. It's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna take the Danish Bakery donuts for my breakfast.
See, and that's the thing with them. It's like I'm interested, because I've every once in a while I will of course bring Duck Donuts to your house. Comparing them to what you just said, is there a difference between
Well,
the two?
so
donuts?
Duck Donuts is more like what do you call specialty? Like you can put all kinds of crap on
all
your
kinds
donut.
of stuff on it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Danish Bakery is like simplistic. It's like chocolate frosted. And I think maybe they do a glaze and that's it. It's
Wow.
like the what's the pizza place in the Wells Fargo Center now? Lorenzo's, where you can only get
Lorenzo's.
Yeah.
you can only get plain. Like so. Danish Bakery is like that. The Duck Donuts are good, but they're more cakey, so there's more
Yeah.
substance to it.
More substance to
Whereas
it. Yep.
a
Mhm.
Danish Bakery donut, like I said, it's like biting into air.
Yeah.
You could probably eat one and not feel like you've eaten anything. 'Cause-
Yeah, that's amazing.
Which means
That's
you can
great
eat
stuff.
more.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
good for you. Good for you.
Steve's
That's
logic
awesome.
right there. I can eat more because I didn't feel like I ate it.
All right, so for me, guys, I'm going to go guilty pleasure,
Ooh.
and
Okay.
this one, if I'm being honest, and I have to watch it, if I get a box of Wheat Thins, I will eat the entire box in one sitting. No lie, and it is a tremendous guilty pleasure because it's like I know I should not eat the entire box in one sitting,
Yes. Yes.
but I eat the entire box in one sitting. So therefore,
Because that calorie count is per serving,
Uh-huh.
not per
yeah.
box.
Well,
Exactly.
this box is what, a 1.5 servings? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So I will eat the entire box of Wheat Thins. I mean, without even blinking.
I remember you back when we would play hockey on Saturday nights and we go to Wawa after. You'd buy Wheat Thins. I remember that.
100%. Yeah.
And you would eat the whole box.
And I would eat the whole box. Exactly. Yeah. So that's my my guilty pleasure for that.
Nice.
All right. So for Johnny,
Beautiful.
what do you got, man?
My turn. I'll do the guilty pleasure to get out of the way because it's very similar to Matt's.
There you go.
Barbecue potato chips. I can't get the small bag. I can't get the medium-sized bag. When I'm back home, I can only get the family-sized bag, and like Matt, house the whole thing.
Eat it in one sitting.
It's a meal. Something with the chemicals that they use just makes my brain happy. I don't know. It's just so good.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
And I like barbecue potato chips, but I've never found any other barbecue potato chip other than the hers that makes me want to eat the whole bag. Like normally with the barbecue potato chips we have now in the house, I'll have like 3 or 4, as a little snack. I won't. If that was a hers bag, a family size, I'd be sitting in the corner, like shoveling the crumbs in my mouth. Like, I don't know why.
That's awesome. That's funny. On the rebound, what do you got, Johnny?
I'm still a dessert. I got lunch.
Looks like you got dessert, midnight. Yeah.
You don't have lunch. You have dinner.
Oh, do I? No.
Oh, yeah. Well, you didn't pick
taco.
a lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got lunch, dessert, and midnight snack in there.
The size of the tacos, I would have thought you'd do that for lunch, but whatever.
It was at dinner. That's why it reminds me of dinner.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So lunch, I'm going to go. I'm very autistic in the way I eat lunch. Like I literally eat a sandwich every day. Like it changes up between turkey and ham. There's not much difference. Sometimes my wife gets crazy and throws lettuce tomato on it. Yeah, I'm wild. My lunch eating is very weird. So I'm going with the Reuben from the Foodie in Northern Liberties because
there you go.
For 7 straight years, I ate a Reuben for lunch every day I worked.
There you go.
And it was so good.
Yeah.
That Reuben was amazing.
That's awesome. I love that.
So grabbing the Reuben for lunch. So
grabbing
lunch
the Reuben there.
For me.
All
there
right.
we go.
This is difficult. I'm looking at lunch, dinner, and midnight snack for me. And I think for me, the dinners, I mean, I love going all out, getting, dressed to the nines, going to a really nice restaurant and everything. If I'm going to have like a really nice restaurant, I'm going to the Chart House in Philly on the Delaware Ave. And I will have a salmon from there, man. Every time I order a salmon there, it's buttery smooth, and I love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, salmon with like a side of greens, and you got the clam chowder. They have like a great clam chowder, where it's like they just serve it in a nice steel-looking pot that's probably about the size of your toothfist. It's great. Awesome. You dunk the all kinds of crackers. You have to have crackers on top of this soup. So no question about that. So yeah, that's my big time Sam. That's my big time
Never been
dinner.
a salmon fan.
Really?
Yeah, I prefer the white fishes. Salmon's. I think salmon is too fishy.
Your flounders here, yeah.
Flounder, tilapia. Even I tried catfish when I was down in Houston.
Catfish.
Oh wow. Okay.
Catfish. If you bread it up and do it Cajun style, that was really good.
Oh yeah.
There you go. I've
always
been
I've never been able to get into salmon.
Yeah, I've always been a salmon guy. Yeah. All right, Steve. What do you got, man?
All right, I'll go guilty pleasure first. And I was initially leaning towards white cheddar Cheetos because I can gobble those down like nobody's business. But you guys both were in sort of the chip vicinity, so I'm going to change it up a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm making my plea right now to Drake's because they make fudge dipped devil dogs.
Oh my gosh!
But apparently, I'm the only one who ever buys them. So, please, Drake's, keep producing fudge dipped devil dogs because they are my guilty pleasure.
It's kind of like with Homer just sitting in the chair. I'll give you all the fudge devil dogs in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love it.
And the best thing to do is freeze them. Because when you get them nice and cold, man. It's so good.
Yeah,
so
man.
good.
Oh. On the rebound? What you got
On
there,
the
bud?
rebound,
Yep.
I think I'll go lunch here on the rebound.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I need more time to think about lunch. I'm going to go midnight snack.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with a chip on the midnight snack.
Nice.
But not just
Okay.
a chip. So I'm going to go with tortilla chips with Tostitos habanero salsa.
Oh, there you
Ooh.
go. That's
There you
right up
go.
the alley of me. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Love that.
And it burns like hell, but I can't stop it.
It's so good.
That's good. Yeah, heck yeah. All right. Well, for
A couple
me,
swigs
guys,
of milk in between.
There you
yeah,
go.
exactly. Right. Take the edge off. For
Right.
me, I think for lunch. So I kind of go back and forth. Ham and cheese. Yeah, like with Johnny, it's kind of like you kind of just go through the same thing over and over and over again. It's kind of you get bored after a while. But the one that I always love, and I love it because you're on the podcast, Steve, is when you and I went to Pietro's and had a pepperoni pizza.
Oh,
There you go.
Winner.
Yeah, baby.
Pepperoni pizza lunch, baby. That's what
Nice.
I'm saying. So
Nice.
I got to get back there. I hope it's still there.
I hope it's still there too. Yeah, we got to go back, man. We really do.
Yeah, we do.
And we got to invite John. We got to find a way to get John to do it.
We'll fly John up just to go.
I'll fly right in.
Yeah,
for that.
exactly. We'll do a live two noobs. We'll do a live two noobs from Pietro's. We're just going to have the whole thing off. We're just sit in the kitchen. We'll just do it.
Their pepperonis were so good. They were like this big around. The diameter was small, but they were thick.
Nice.
They were
Fantastic.
thick cut. They were so
Yeah,
good.
and they were
thick
good amount of
pepperoni is-
spice, everything. Yeah.
You need a good thick pepperoni.
Yeah.
You can't have a thin pepperoni.
And that restaurant,
fan.
let me tell you, Johnny, that goes back like a tooth. It just goes
Nice.
forever, all the way straight back to their kitchen. It's terrific.
Beautiful.
It's awesome. Yeah, love it. Yeah. All right, so what do you got, John? Dessert, midnight snack to close it out
Yeah,
for you,
I don't
there,
know.
bud. Yeah.
Midnight snack, I'm going to go. Steve is very similar to mine, but my wife makes this amazing quesadilla late at night when I'm hungry. Like after dinner, before like bedtime. She it just makes this perfect cheese quesadilla, and we have an array of salsas. So I like to take the quesadilla and have an array of little salsa verde over here, little hot chunky salsa here, maybe put a little tula on the side, and that's always like that's my go-to when I'm hungry. Actually, when I was on the road, that's all I made for myself. Like as
Well,
the-
you guys
like,
are so
the
blessed.
second dinner
Yeah.
was like boom boom, like I'm gonna have quesadilla every day. So I gotta
Steve,
grab
you
my
can have
quesadilla.
second dinner. Why can't I have second breakfast?
I told you,
There you go. There you go.
quesadilla in there.
There you go.
I gotta
You
finish.
you
with-
get those with chicken fajitas.
Who wouldn't want chicken vaginas? Come on.
Quick story. So that actually came from Family Guy. We saw an episode of Family Guy. This was years ago, where he says chicken fajitas. And my brother Glenn, who listens to the podcast,
Yeah. Hey, Glenn.
whenever we'd go out places where they had fajitas, he would a lot of times order fajitas. So we would always joke with him, "Why don't you order it as a chicken fajita and see what reaction you get?" And he was like, "Oh," and he would always like, "No." He would always do it. But then one time we were on a trip. I think we were in Virginia. And we didn't say anything, and he actually said vaginas on accident.
That's awesome.
Say what?
And we're like, yes, we did it.
Subliminal messaging does work after a while.
Got 'em.
Kind of a deal. Got him. What do you got, Johnny? Dessert.
Dessert.
Close it out. What do you have,
Oh,
bud?
this is tough because I do not eat dessert
Yeah.
at all, ever.
Really?
Yeah, not a dessert kind of person.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna have to go the Wawa eclair.
Okay.
That's my dessert. The thick one that has it's entirely too heavy amounts of cream in there, and the chocolate. it's too good.
One
I
thing
gotta
you
go.
can know about Wawa's is they have great snacks and they also have great
Yes.
desserts in there. They really do. And
That's
it's
what
like
I
it's
think.
really horrible. The calorie count, but it's great.
It's a bad. Don't count calories at Wawa.
Oh no, absolutely not. Yeah. All right. Well, for me, I guess the midnight snack. This is hard because I'm just like racking my brain. You know, it's like wheat thins could pass, but I already picked that. So I'm just gonna go old standard. Like I gotta go with popcorn, and for me, it's got to be like the Jiffy Pop popcorn.
Nice.
Throw it in the oven, you know,
Yeah.
with the butter, and you get that extra butter in there, you know, all that kind of stuff. that to me is like I'll just eat that, and again I'll probably wolf that down, you know, that kind of deal. But it's not a guilty pleasure. The guilty pleasure is the wheat thins that I have to watch, you know, that kind of a deal. You know,
I completely forgot about popcorn. I got my wife a popcorn maker years ago.
Yeah.
This is one that it's like a heated plate with a dome over it.
Yep.
And a thing that kind of agitates the popcorn.
Yeah.
And you put oil in it and you put the kernels and the pops. And that to me is way better than like microwave.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
absolutely.
And so last Christmas, my in-laws got me for Christmas a case of Amish popcorn, like all different types.
Oh,
so there's
wow.
like they call them like lady fingers. There's red popcorn, purple jumbo, all different kinds, and a bottle of Amish butter. That you microwave that up and then you pour it over the top.
Nice.
Oh my god!
Wow.
I want
that just
popcorn right
sounds
now.
so good.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, when can I come over? Wow. Yeah. All right, Steve, you're closing out. What do you got for lunch, man?
Popcorn. No.
Exactly. Popcorn flavored popcorn
right now?
on top of popcorn.
I'm like you guys. I do a pretty consistent lunch every day. I usually have a cheese sandwich. Sometimes, if I have the time, I'll make a panini out of it.
Oh, there you go.
You know, throw a couple slices of provolone on some bread, press it.
There you go.
It, you know, melt it.
Classic melty chili cheese.
But,
Absolutely.
You know, when I can have a nice bowl of mac and cheese, that's a very comforting lunch to me.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
And now I got to pick which
classic.
one.
What's your go-to mac and cheese?
Panera's good.
Okay.
Cracker Barrel makes a good home style one, but I think I'm going to go with another one I think I've mentioned on the podcast before. Cheetos jalapeno mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
That's another one. It burns while it's going down, but boy, it tastes so good.
Steve likes his food spicy, baby. That's what it's all
That's
about
right
there. Yeah, exactly.
He likes it spicy.
Love it. Well, that's it, guys. That wraps up episode 105 of Two Noobs. As always, great job. It's wonderful. Wonderful to be able to sit and talk with you guys. It is always a lot of fun. So why don't you just go ahead and just tell, like, where can people find us out there on Two Noobs?
Absolutely nowhere. We're all here. No, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Clapper, short little videos that push you to our...
It's our main YouTube channel, the Two Noobs Talking. Two Noobs Talking actually is the name of our channel. Like, share, subscribe. Get notified when our videos drop. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Audibly, Steve, where can people listen to us?
Audibly, people can listen to us on Wheat Thins, mac and cheese. I'm reading the wrong list. Sorry, guys.
That's the wrong copy.
Right. Sorry. Let me throw that out. Audibly, people can find us on Podbean, which puts us out all over the internets and interwebs and whatnots. So it gets us to places like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Samsung Podcasts.
Yes. Found that was good.
iHeartRadio, Glenn and your fajitas. Crap, Spotify. We got, what's the other one? Amazon Music, Pandora. We're all over the place. Just Google us. We're Googleable. TOO Noobs.
Love it. Love it. All right, guys. Well, that's it. Ends the episode. End of 105. It's on to 106 next week. Until then, talk to you all guys next week. Take care.